Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them for a breath. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It's Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. We are in the Hercules Tires studio in Concord, North Carolina, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post, how are you?
I'm
That's
good.
A dumb question this week.
Yeah, true. I say I'm good because life is good and I really can't complain about much. However,
Right. Life is good. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's happy. Everyone's good.
I might have to shut off social media. It's been hard.
This is we are going to attempt to be all our regular giddy happy self, but we are a little bit sour because this is supposed to be the week we're supposed to be with all of our family and friends in Knoxville. And so we're, and there's a portion of our family and friends still out there.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested to see the take afterward, but already hearing that it's same but it's different. And it's same but it's different, and it's so anyhow. But it is the one and only week, and let's hope this is the one and only week that we have to deal with this. But we're glad you joined us, Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, talking sprint car racing. Great program for you here today. Kerry Madsen and Brent Mark's going to join us. So a couple of big winners from this past weekend. So really cool. And, man, did you see the storms that flew through there yesterday and knocked out T-Mac's show and everything else? Holy cow.
I mean, the storms in Knoxville are always legitimate.
Spectacular.
Every time we stay in a motorhome there, I'm like,
oh, God,
this is just, we're just asking for it. We've been through some doozies, knock on wood, everyone's been safe. But that storm yesterday, oh my gosh, did you see, what's his name's trailer?
Aaron Jeniton's trailer, tipped it right over.
And the sign at the Dingus.
Is
I mean,
over
2020 is really pushing it now.
You got it now. When you mess around with the Dingus sign, now it's personal. I mean, exactly. I mean, what a storm. And unfortunately, for Terry McCarl, I mean, he got his 360 show in Sunday night, but unfortunately for him, it's canceled. And we've talked a number of times. We've talked to Brad Doty about this. When you're a one-off promoter,
that's tough.
It's really tough.
Yeah, and he worked so hard to get all the promotional stuff. But I mean, it sounded like most of the area was out of power. So
it sounded like it wasn't even a close shot that they could do anything. Oh, we could get it in. No, it didn't seem like that was the case.
If anyone would get it in, if
they
could,
there's no doubt about it. I mean, remember when we came back to racing in April, who was the one that led the charge on that? It was Terry McCarl. So
he ain't scared.
You know, if it could have happened, it would have been attempted. That's for sure. And I think that just goes to show you. Brad Doty had talked about this on social media on his Twitter account and said, it's like you build the new car and you put everything into it. This is your race car, and you're out there and you're leading the heat race, and on lap 7 of 8, you stick it in the fence and trash the whole damn thing. So the car, and it's good, and it's good, and it feels right, and before you get any sense of glory on it, it goes toes up.
Yeah.
And that's what Terry and so T-Mac and Lori and everyone out there, our hearts are with you guys as you lick your wounds on that. I think it's almost cruel, and this is the way it has to happen. Renewals, they said, send us an email. They did all of this and everything. They're going to have to spend the next 3 weeks writing checks out to people to refund money, which I'm not worried. I mean, it's not, but it's just salt in the wound. You're just like, okay, we canceled, it's done. Let's wake up tomorrow and it'll be over. It's not going to be over.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we got to run the
one and
only.
The one and only.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So cool stuff. Hey, let's get right to it. Our classic ink, screen printing, and embroidery hot topics. How about the Madman out at Knoxville?
I know, man. He was on fire.
Rolling?
He was fast.
Holy cow, they had that thing tuned up, didn't they?
It wasn't even a shot for anyone else, really.
I mean, and we've seen this coming. We're going to talk to Kerry. We've seen this coming. It seems like the last couple of weeks that 2-car has been up front a lot more.
Step. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So it'll be good to see with Cody Jacobs over there. Really cool. Ironman 55, no shocker. Sheldon Haudenschild with a dominant win on Friday. Did you see that race on Saturday?
I did.
That was insane. TJ Slideways.
Yeah.
TJ said he lost count of how many times he said "holy boop" while watching that race.
Yeah, there were a lot of moments.
I mean, that was insane.
Yeah.
When you watch the one moment where Rico and Kyle got together, and Kyle's all out, there's no way Kyle's going to win this race, except for he's Kyle Larson.
Except for he did.
Except for he did. Yes, absolutely. Great race. Kudos again. So much great racing. That's been a theme this year as well. I had the chance, Erin. I love what Steve Sinclair and everyone in Wisconsin does. This IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints. And fortunately, with Road America on our NASCAR schedule, I'm fortunate enough to be able to weasel my way into that one. And then I'm able to weasel my way into some IRA. And I went to the home track, Wilmot. Wow, what a great racetrack.
It is.
I mean, it is just a racy little bull ring, elbows up, cowboy up, separate the men from the boys.
Yep.
And it is good. This was Founders Night, okay? And 53 years ago, the IRA started. So they're obviously doing something right.
Yeah.
Okay. Ray Toft, Whitey Harris, and the late Junior Dodd were the founders of this. And there's a Winners' Cup trophy, or the Founders' Cup trophy, that is at the Southeastern Wisconsin Racing Hall of Fame. I think that's in Racine, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is one of those where you get your name added to one of these trophies. And not a shocker, Bill Baylog is now 7 for 7 at it. But I'm telling you, just every pit area has a great story up there.
Yeah.
And I did some Hercules Tires Tales from the Road. I had one, and I had one that I was so disappointed in that I couldn't get it to work just because they were parked right next to the speaker, and the announcer's voice was as loud as my voice, and that's fine. And it just is what it is. It's not it just is. But there's so many stories up there with the IRA, and there's such good racers. This is a tour. This is a tour predominantly of working men and women who go racing on Friday and Saturday night within a confined area so that they can get there and get back and go to work on Monday morning again. Yeah. And they are just such hard-nosed, great racers and great people. Mm-hmm. They really, truly are. So, I mean, what a thrill to be up there. What a thrill. And I met my replacement, okay, in this whole thing. There's a young girl up there, Chatty Maddie. She's a hoot. She's crazy. I don't know. She might be 20. I don't know. She got more hair than I do.
Wow.
I actually posted a picture of us, best hair in sprint car racing. We've got better than Ryan Taylor and Brian Brown in the product using category, and we're even better than Rico and Ricky Stenhouse in the mullet category. Well, we have them on volume. Chatty Maddie and I have them on volume.
Okay, so that's some good competition.
But she does a thing on Facebook, and you can follow her at Chatty Maddie she's on Facebook, and she just interviews drivers up there. She's just slugging it out, just trying to make her way and scratch and claw and do things. She announces at a Friday night track up there, and she was fun. It's just good people. Mm-hmm. That's all it boils down to, is just good people. We had a long delay at Road America, and I'm riding back to the hotel, and I'm like, oh, I don't know that I want to go. Wilmot's an hour away from the hotel, and I got an early morning flight, and I don't want to. And the last minute, I said, no, I think I'm going to run down there. I'm going to go do it. And I left there saying, oh, thank God I did that. Thank God I did that. I mean, I love what Steve Sinclair has with the IRA and Bill Baylog getting the win. And finally, this story. Okay, and I love this is a little note. On Monday, we have the Facebook group, okay? And there is no way in the world Steve, Erin, Ashley, Krager, the other Steve, we could watch all the sprint car racing in the world and we would not see it all. Okay, so on Monday mornings, our Facebook group, I've kind of been doing what's the best thing you saw this weekend. A couple of weeks ago, we had the guy with the cast up at Penn Can Speedway with the cast. Okay, from similar up there, Canandaigua Speedway, Land of Legends Raceway, the Mike M. Hoff Motorsports 305 sprint cars. Listen to this. Bobby Perro. Did you ever know Bobby Perro?
Yes.
You know? Okay.
Yes.
He won an ESS race on July 14th, 1999. And 7,696 days later, he won again.
That's a cool story.
He sat out most of that. He just started back racing again. But that's cool.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
No, I mean, to knock the rust off, and the 305s at Canandaigua, Land of Legends Speed. That's cool.
Yeah.
When you take 7,969 or 7,696 days off between wins, that had to be feeling pretty good to get back in victory lane. So I love that. I really do. That's one of the things, and that's where I love this Monday thing that we're doing on there, is because you get these stories. This is respect the heck out of 305, 360, 358 racers, and wish we could. I wish we could do a Wing Nation for every track on the and let alone every Series A sanctioning body. We just can't. And when you put this together, it's a 410 world. I mean, it just is. And and so. But I love that. I love the chance that we get to talk a little bit about 305s, and because there's some great racers out there.
Up in my land.
Yes, up in your land,
Yeah.
Canandaigua, Land of Legends.
You bet.
Oh, you old stomping
Upstate
grounds
New
up
York.
there. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Mine too. I used to go up to
Yeah.
Canandaigua to watch the modifieds run. Yep. Once that was a tough one because you had to wind up through the Finger Lakes and everything like that.
Yeah, I was coming from
You were coming
Albany or
right
Buffalo,
straight across.
So
Yeah,
it
you're
was
coming right
easy.
straight across. Where mine was all the 2-lane roads are fine on the way up, but on the way back, the 2-lane roads get a little sketchy. So great stuff. And I love when we get these stories about accomplishments like this, little quirky things that happen, and I think that's great. So kudos to Bobby Perro. I would suggest not waiting 7,696 days to the next one. At some point we start to age out of this thing. So no. I think that is great. So fun stuff. There you go. There you have it. Our classic ink screen printing and embroidery hot topics, And with classic ink screen printing and embroidery, we talk about them a lot of times for the racing, but it's more than racing. Local businesses, school districts, sports teams, you name it, they can do it at Classic Ink. So you can go to www.classicinkusa.com. Sheldon Hodgshell, Donnie Schatz, Danny Dietrich, Lethal Chassis, Tony Stewart, Brian Brown, the list goes on and on. We use them for Wing Nation as well. You can find them at www.classicinkusa.com. They offer a whole lot of things, don't they, Erin?
They sure do. They have full custom driver apparel and crew wear options, full service embroidery department specializing in headwear and outerwear, an experienced design team, and a dedicated sales department.
Yes, indeed. ClassicInkUSA.com. That's www.classicinkUSA.com. How about this one? Another thing that's great about the sport is rivalries. Yes, and we've got one in Pennsylvania that is as hot as anything. It is Danny Dietrich. It is Freddie Raymer. They mixed it up again at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. Here's Chet Christner with the call on Flow Racing.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
And here comes a run around the outside. A little ripper off the top shelf and hot on the heels. Down into turn number 1 and 2. Dietrich down the inside. Raymer around the outside. There's a lane there. They'll come together. Sparks fly. And Danny Dietrich wheels it up and into the number 1 spot.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the world of outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Dryden.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
It is Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. So glad you joined us here today on the program. And we're going to the Dryden Hotline to pick off our first guest who picked up the big win at the Speed Palace on Saturday night. Brent Marks joins us. Hello, Brent. Welcome back into Wing Nation.
Thanks for having me.
Well, congratulations. Brent, I've been talking about you the last couple of weeks. Do you know how many second-place finishes have you had?
Yeah, way too many.
I know, yeah.
I know.
Well,
but,
the problem, you had Larson up there for a while messing everything up, so that didn't help anybody. But, yeah, so you finally got one done.
Yeah, I finished, I think, second to Larson about 5 times or something like that on some really big paying shows, too. So it was, it was a little frustrating, don't get me wrong, but we've been we've been really fast, here for the entire summer, and been really competitive every single race. So that means a lot. We just really couldn't quite get the job done and couldn't put a full night together. And there's some races I'd be leading and just kind of get caught up in lap traffic a little bit. And those always seem to be the races that Larson was at. He always kind of capitalized on it. But we got it done finally, and it feels good, and got that first one out of the way. This CJB Motorsports car.
Brent, you mentioned, well, you said you've been fast all year, and you clearly have been. What has it been like this year? I mean, we know that this is a strange year with everything going on with the virus, but going from your own team, just you and a crew guy often on the road with the Outlaws, to being home in Pennsylvania, close to home, with Barry Jackson, a full team. Just talk about that transition this year.
Yeah, it's definitely been different for sure. It's been a huge change for me, and but I'm enjoying it. I went to a great team, and we're one of the best teams out there too. So I've had a lot of confidence coming in, and it was a little bit of a slow start to the season, but we got things squared away and figured out. And now we're carrying some speed, so we just have to. One thing that we have to work on yet is just the improve our time trials a little bit, which that's always kind of been my thing. I've never really been that great of a time trialer, but got to work on that a little bit, and then those bigger shows will go a little bit easier for us because we always kind of seem to be digging ourselves out of a little bit of a hole there in a heat race. But no, it's been a great time with them, and we really didn't plan on being around Pennsylvania as much as we are right now. It's just with COVID and all the racing started back up in Pennsylvania. And then we ended up being Williams Grove points leader after the Outlaw shows. And, it's just, we just decided to concentrate on that a little bit. And if you think about it too, besides the Ironman in Knoxville this coming week, all the big shows are really in Pennsylvania here for the rest of the year. So just going to concentrate on that and, try and win as many of those things as we can.
Yeah, you're right about that. The month of September up there is your own month of money, and to have all that seat time on all those tracks and everything else, it's kind of like it's a changed plan, but it's a good plan as you sit here in the early part of August. Brent, I want to go back because I watched you guys down at Volusia, and you had said you kind of had a little bit of a slow start. Was it something specific with the cars? Was it learning? Was it what Barry likes to do, what you like to do? Was it a little bit of everything and getting your arms around that? Then we had the stoppage with COVID. How big of a challenge was that, and what types of things did you kind of work your way out of?
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. It was a big change for me. We had some issues down in Florida that we needed to work on, and we got back to the shop and we worked on it. Then you're right, COVID hit, and basically had 2 months off, so it was like another off season. So then starting back up and really kind of starting all over again, and just took us a few weeks to get things dialed back in there, and but we did, really just running second there in Peebly earlier in the year for that Outlaw show. Really kind of set the tone that we have something that's gonna work for us, and we just kept trying to fine tune it. And with really at that time, Pennsylvania was the only state kind of racing, and it's easier to dial in on something new when you're racing similar tracks every week. So I feel like that was kind of a benefit to us. Instead of going from different track to different track every week, we just were able to work on small things that were holding us up a little bit. And I feel like we found it. So, but right now, I feel like we can go to any racetrack in the country and be competitive. It don't matter what series it is. So I just have a lot of confidence in this team and this car, and I keep saying it, but very, very thankful for the opportunity that they've given me to, finally have a shot to try to improve myself in a good car. And it's hard, but I'm really enjoying it. And Barry pushes me to be the best I can be. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and having that confidence is certainly a great place to be. Brent, I want to ask you a little more about working with Barry Jackson. He's had a lot of success with a number of different drivers. What has it been like to work with that wealth of knowledge, especially after having your own team and doing a lot of it on your own?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, he's been helping me a lot with you know, just being a better driver and you know, not so much worry about the behind the scenes stuff. And you know, that's kind of what was always on my mind jumping in my own car is, you know, I was always thinking about setups and you know, sitting up there, you know, rolling around on the track and before we line up for a heat race or a feature or something and thinking, oh man, I should have did this, I should have did that. You know, it's just I don't have to worry about that right now. And he's helped me kind of just focus on driving and let the team handle the rest of it. And you know, I feel like that's been a huge change in my driving style this year, you know, and he's pushed me to be more aggressive and you know, just go out there and wheel the race car, you know, just let it do its thing. And you know, like I said, I just feel like I've learned a lot with him this year and he's pushed me to be the best I can be, you know. You know, don't get me wrong, there's some nights that he's hard on me, but you know, he's doing it because he cares and he wants to win and I want to win and you know, and that's just how it is with racing professionally. You know, you got to be hard on each other sometimes to bring the best out of each other too. So it's been a good experience for sure.
I'll say, yeah, Barry's one of those that I can imagine the look in his eyes at times are like, you better shape up and everything like that, but the goal is the same, and I think that's amazing. You said something, we just watched a little bit, and those of you watching this on a video stream, and I know most of you listen to it, okay, so I apologize for referencing something, but I'll describe it. You talk about being aggressive, okay? I just watched some of the highlights, and I watched them earlier from Port Royal, where somebody is running the cushion and you go a groove higher. And did you actually slap the wall a few times while passing people? I mean, I think there's aggressive and I think there's nuts. Of course, I've never driven one of these things, but to make a move like that around the outside of somebody who's already on the cushion at Port Royal, what's that like?
Yeah, Port Royal is a lot of fun. And fortunately, that's one of the tracks that you can kind of bounce your right rear off the wall and it won't suck you in. So it just works out well. And I don't know, it's hard to describe. I just go out there and do it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know I watched that video too, and I was like, man, there's just some moves that I did. I was like, wow, I didn't think it was that aggressive there racing, but I wasn't going to be denied that night. I was just going to make sure that we won that race that night. So. We've been on the outside looking in a lot this year, and like I said, I just wanted to make sure that we were going to get that win, and we did. So felt good, you know. Even though it was only a local show, you know, we needed that, and we're racing against the best in Pennsylvania, so it's not like they're a bunch of slouches. So meant a lot to come from ninth there, and you know, essentially win by a straightaway there. So it was, we had a lot of speed.
No doubt. Good stuff. Hey, I saw something that I thought was really, really cool. Your daughter McKenna holding a checkered flag in victory lane. How neat was that as a dad?
Yeah, it's really cool. She's still really shy around people and when she gets her pictures taken by other people. But you know, it's special when I can have my family there, and especially McKenna. You know, be a part of that experience. And, you know, she loved holding that checkered flag. So we heard about it all night on the way home and the next day about Daddy winning and the checkered flag and all that. So it was really cool.
Doesn't get any better than that, that's for sure. And that is really, really neat. We wish you the best. We know now one of the big goals is a Williams Grove Track Championship. You've set yourself up nicely for that. That looks awful good on the resume as well. We wish you the best in getting that, and I'm fairly confident we'll talk to you again as the season unfolds. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck as you move forward, Brent.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
There we go. Brent Marks joining us here on the program. That's just a real that
Yeah.
that is one of those things that with him working with Barry.
Yeah.
I think Brent has always been a really, really talented driver.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I know there's times when you'd look at him when he was feeling his own World of Outlaw team, and you're like, not the weight of the world, but the details of the world.
Stress, the pressure,
right,
all of
was
it.
on
Yeah.
his shoulders.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see what Brent Marks, the driver, looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's all he has
In
to
good
do.
equipment with a great crew chief.
And, yeah, because you know when you slide into Barry's car. Okay, it is, and that comes with a pressure. And it was just good to see. I love that because Brent's always been one of my favorite guys to chat with. And I was glad he got those World of Outlaw wins. But it was like, man, this is really, really cool. And then we got into this year, and they were a little slow off the start. And I'm like, oh, boy, I hope this works out. And it appears like it's working out well. And he's right. We get done with Knoxville this week.
Yeah.
All the big money is in Pennsylvania then. And they're sitting there licking their chops like, come and get it because you're going to have to take it from us. And I like where they're at with that. I think that's really, really neat. So good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You kidding me? Brent Marks joining us. Hey, we need to step. Oh, wait a minute. I got to do something else here. We got to tell you all about the Ford FPS 410 Sprint Car engine. Ever heard of it? Well, if you haven't, you will. It's the result of a collaboration between Ford Performance, Tony Stewart Racing, and Durham Racing Engines. Tony Stewart used it to win his team's sprint car in his sprint car for the first win in mid-August of last year. But a few weeks later, Donnie Schatz put it in and won at Lakeside in a World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car race.
So what is the FPS 410's future? The goal is an engine that can challenge for victories in series across the country as part of a Ford Performance customer program. Now that sounds like a winner.
Speaking of winners, the 360 National Champion, Kerry Madsen, he joins us next.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Hey Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honeycrisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
It is Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. We are in the Hercules Tires studio. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post. We're going right back to the Dryden hotline. We're talking to all winners here today on the program. And one of our buds picked up the win in the 360 Nationals at Knoxville. Kerry Madsen, the Madman, joins us. Hello, Kerry. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Oh, thanks, man. How you going?
I'm going really, really well. Dude, you had that 360 car wound up on Saturday night. That was a strong run. Congratulations. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. You sort of said, I want to get a 360. And I'm like, yeah, why not, man? And Brian Morrison come through and built a really nice piece, and I think ran really good. And the boys had the car was on rails, so it was a lot of fun to drive. I'm not going to lie.
It sure looked like it. A car that fast is always fun to drive. Kerry, talk about your year in general. You guys have had a lot of speed, but you really haven't had the finishes to show for it. But it seems like you hit on something just recently. Is that the case?
Oh, absolutely. It's been I thought obviously a crazy year, but we just sort of been, new. We got all Cody Jacobs as a new crew chief, so we got all new people. We switched kind of specification of cars, so it's been like a start from scratch drawing board at the start of the year. And obviously early in the year there wasn't a lot of racing, so we didn't get to really put the work in early. And we've sort of just been start from scratch and slowly building up the speed, and we're really confident with our package at the moment. And in the last sort of 6 weeks, we've been really quick and just had the most craziest stuff happening. And we just don't have much to show for it, but every time you get in, we feel like we're getting better and the confidence is building. So sooner or later, they can't keep us out of victory lane forever.
Kerry, when you kind of start fresh like you do, and Cody's been around for quite some time, and you've raced these cars for some time. When you start fresh, is it a matter of him trying to adapt to you trying to adapt to it? Is a combination? I mean, how? Take us inside of that team. How does that work when you start from scratch like that?
I think it's a combination, really. Both parties trying to meet in the middle. The biggest thing is, when you put new pieces and parts and people together, you're going to have some fast nights and you're going to have some not so good nights because we're still learning. We go to a different track every night, so that's what takes time over a period of time. Is a new track trick out of the box every night with and that's the hard part about new people, and that's why there's so much time, because you look in history and it takes a couple of years for combinations to really gel and provide that consistency, night in, night out. So you're trying to make as many shortcuts as you can to get there for experience or what to do, but at the same time you still have to be patient and just go through the motions, and it seems like if you try to push it, you just got to be patient. And but in saying that, like, we've been working hard, and the car speed's there, and we've actually been kind of unlucky a little bit not to have a few more W's on the board. So, I couldn't be more happier where we're at.
Yeah. Adding to Steve's question, Kerry, when you start changing specification with chassis, shocks, whatever you're doing, which I don't know what it is that an influence from Cody? Is it an influence from Todd or you? Like, how do you make those decisions? Is it performance? Is it sponsorship related? Like, what leads to those changes?
Well, I kind of usually just let the crew chief guys do whatever shocks they want to do. I'm not that overtly concerned about exactly what shocks. I just usually like to race the car and then I give a bit of feedback and just get a bit of common ground there. But for me, the big thing is, you need depth in your arsenal. It's okay to have one car that's all tricked out and is unbelievable, and then something happens to it. You go back and it's just like starting again. So I just like depth in our stable somewhat. So when you can jump to different cars, it's all the same, and you can pick up right where you left off with the other one. I feel like that's when we build that's what shows the real great results in the long run.
Okay, so Sprint Car 101, I think, how do you have multiple cars, obviously, and you work to get it so that you can just jump from one to the other and be good. How many cars do you have? Are there ones that you would use at a Huset's versus a Knoxville versus a Williams Grove versus a Peevely? Are there subtle differences in them, or do you how does that work with the team?
Some guys obviously like a little different stuff, but for me, my best success has just come from having everything the same. I don't know. I feel like that gives me confidence when everything's the same and we can jump around. It seems like once you've got a really good race car, they seem to work good anywhere, Australia, Huset's, Knoxville, it doesn't matter. So once you got that, then you get back to your chassis manufacturer, which is Maxim. And it just gives you that stability. I feel like, the guys of yesteryear have done everything you could think of, on chassis. So the Maxim builds a correct chassis, and we just got a spec we like and just go for it and just commit to it.
Kerry, when you have that car that you like and you run it at any different track, it's been a while since I've been behind the wheel, but now you go from a 360 to a 410. Are there, at a place like Knoxville, are there many changes that you make chassis-wise?
There's a thing, like, once you get that confidence with your crew chief, I sort of stay out of it, just concentrate on the driving side. And, I don't really see him tuning too much. So once we get that package, especially at Knoxville, once the car seems to be right, it's right, other than, a few little, as the track evolution goes on during the night, just sort of keeping up with it. But, I try to, when we're getting together, you like to pour over the data and figure out what we're doing. But once you start to gel and click, then just let them go about their business and concentrate on my job.
Man, that's some good stuff. It's obviously working well. Kerry, you are a resident now of Knoxville. And I know we're not into what was the Nationals week, what is the one and only week. And now I know we've got the tragedy of the Dingus sign blowing down. Okay, but what was Knoxville like for the 360s? What is the vibe around there? What's the feel around there?
Like, honestly, like to the racers, it's kind of business as usual, really. Like everyone's just excited that time of year. I don't really know if it's really kicked in for a lot of people that it's not a nationals. Everyone's just, it's that time of year. We're in Knoxville. Devastated we got rained out with the front row challenge last night because I always enjoy racing at Oski, but sort of business as usual. But I would imagine come Saturday night, someone's probably going to be a little disappointed. But, that's just 2020 and just excited to have the opportunity to have a big race this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, what the World of Outlaws and Knoxville has done in this just crazy scenario we're in the world is phenomenal. Sure. No, it's not the Nationals, but it's still a pretty good purse. You'd take the $50,000 check and cash it in, would you?
Silly question, mate.
Yeah, Exactly. Well, Kerry, I'll tell you what, I was so happy to see you win. I love watching you wheel a sprint car, and appreciate you taking some time to join us here today. Best of luck on the one and only this weekend, and as you guys carry some good momentum into the second half of the year and everything that holds. But best of luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right, much appreciated, guys. Thank you.
There we go. Kerry Madsen joining us here on the program, and the madman is rolling. Got some momentum on his side. Performance is pretty good there. And
they got some good equipment. And
they really do.
Crew chief,
and a great
driver,
crew chief, a
great
driver. So
They're
it's
good.
like you've got the whole combination there. But he's right when you think about this. When you think about it, it is very rare that you can have a great owner and a great crew chief and a great driver, which they have. Okay, and a great chassis and a great engine and a great this and a great that. But it's and teams will come out of the box and win a race or two along the way. But that night in, night out, running at the front of the field with like a Brad Sweet or a Donnie Schatz or a guy like that, that takes some time to get to that. And it's just the reality of it. And Kerry's absolutely right. He knows it better than us because he's been living it. Yeah. But it's just to get that chemistry. And I like what he said about the depth. I never thought about that. I thought about that when Larson crashed his old EMI chassis that he won all that money with. But obviously Silva had a little depth in the arsenal there because they had another one that they rolled out or patched that one up and got it back got it back for the Ironman. So neat stuff. Our friends at Plan B Sales, they've got some neat stuff as well. Founded in 2010 as a Lionel as a Chase Authentics apparel distributor. Now they have the full line: Auto World, Greenlight Collectibles, Sam Bass artwork, brand art, University of Racing lines. And I was just over there. They have got a huge inventory as well.
And they have partnerships with Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and other drivers. Use promo code MRN for free shipping on orders over $20.
When we come back, Erin, you and I get to talk about one of our favorite people.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen? You haven't looked at the?
I didn't look at the notes.
Have you looked at the note? One of our favorites. One of our faves. We're going to talk about him in just a moment.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Dryden.
Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, rolling along here. We are so glad you joined us. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame birthday calendar, and I mentioned this before the break. We're going to talk about one of our favorites. Later this week, Pernelli Jones, Fred Linder. Later this week, Ron Shaver, Hal Robson. But today is the birthday of 2009 inductee into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame, Jack Elam. How about that?
I know.
I told you he's one of our faves.
He is. Jack and Bonnie.
Jack and Bonnie. I am
Can't mention Jack without mentioning Bonnie.
I know,
too.
isn't that great? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
It's like Jack Elam, Jack and Bonnie. They're in the Hall of Fame. Well, it's Jack, but it's Jack and Bonnie.
Yeah.
And they're just wonderful, wonderful people. Listen to this. I didn't realize the story, okay? He started working with his father in a blacksmith shop. And there he learned craftsmanship, he learned a work ethic, and he learned pride in a job well done. And in 1964, he started to build sprint cars. 1966, one of his drivers said, hey, you know what you need to do? You need to go up to Indy and see A.J. Watson. Of course, the old Watson Roadster guy. He did that, built his first 4-bar car, started H&E Engineering partnership with Les Hill. In 1972, became the owner, moved to McKenzie, Tennessee. And J&J Chassis has been a mainstay in victory lanes in sprint car racing. In the early years, Sammy Swindell, Bubby Jones, Hooker and Ricky Hood, Ron Schumann, Bobby Davis Jr. used their cars. Back then, they were creating about 30 cars a year. Now, somewhere in the vicinity of 200 cars a year. Donnie Schatz, Sam Haferteep Jr. We talked to Cap Henry. He just keeps knocking it out. Erin Evernham. We want to talk about big timers. Erin Evernham and weekly winners across the country. Really, really cool. Gosh, it's happy birthday, Jack.
Yeah.
Man, this is great, isn't it? Have Jack's birthday.
It is. I love Jack and Bonnie. Like, there are people that I won't see for years, and you see them. You get the biggest hugs. It's a big reunion. They're just, like we say, every time we do this birthday calendar, true ambassador of the sport.
No doubt about it.
They are some of the best people you'll meet.
Yep, absolutely. So happy birthday to Jack. You know what else I found interesting, and I shared this with you over the break. Okay, I mentioned Ron Shaver's birthday is coming up on Friday. Jack's birthday is today, and Donnie Schatz's birthday was yesterday.
Yeah.
Coincidence? It's just neat. Now, and granted, we understand that that Donnie has moved into the Ford camp with Andy Durham building the engines, although Ron had his hand into it. But when you look at those rock star years, the success they had together, and they're all born within 5 days of each other. A few years, 1 or 2 years apart, that's for sure. So, fun stuff. Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, located at turn number 2 in Knoxville. Second floor seating is available for all the upcoming races. You can catch Bob Baker on that. Make sure if you're there this week for the one and only, you check out the Greg Hoddett exhibit. And this week also, they're having an online auction. So, just follow along with them on their social media channels.
Please check out the auction. It's a big event for them every year at the Nationals. And since there won't be that much of a crowd, please check it out online.
Online now, that's for sure. So there you have it. Now, I am excited because we're in another stretch of the year, okay? And before we came on the air, I chit-chatted a little bit on Messenger with my buddy Scott Traylor with Racing Boys, okay? We are in that time of year where there is racing every night, okay? And this is where the ASCS National Tour is on. It is their sprint week powered by Smileys, okay? This is a non-points format, but the all-star format. Non-points and all-star format, because that way if one of their drivers wants to go run Knoxville, but it's not the Nationals, but it's Knoxville, but it's not the, it's that back and forth that we're all going through. It's Knoxville, but it's not the Nationals. They start tonight at Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City. Tomorrow night, Caney Valley Speedway in Kansas. Thursday, 81 Speedway Park in Park City, Kansas. Friday, Creek County Speedway in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. Then on over to Arkansas, I-30 Speedway in Little Rock, and Diamond Park Speedway in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. All the races, 300 to win, 3,000 to win, 300 to win. The end of the week, champion, and there's second and third place, Smiley's gift cards. So my buddy Scott Traylor, he is gassing the old Racing Boys buggies up.
Yep.
And he starts with a home game at Lakeside in Kansas City. He'll end over in Arkansas, and the teams will as well. But it's going to be a fun week. Going to be fun to see. It's going to be interesting to see who does this, who jumps in, who jumps out. Yep. Who's where with it, and I think that's fascinating. We actually have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on our TV show on this week, later this week. Okay, and he actually had really looked at a couple of those races, but his dad is his chief mechanic, and his dad had some engine work that he was getting paid to do, and paid work is better than the son's work. So, but that's what it's going to be fun to watch this sprint week for the ASCS National Tour to see. And you're going through all of their regions too. So you're going to get
pick up a
huge
lot
field
of-
of cars.
yep.
They're going to get big fields of cars. I'm just curious as to, does Sam stay with it the whole time? Does Harley go to Knoxville?
Yeah.
Does Harley, where does Blake Hahn go? Where do they all go? I think Roger Crockett's another one. I think it's fun to see. And then just to see who runs the first couple races, then moves on to Knoxville. So I love it. I love that they're doing this. This is cool. RacingBoys.com has it all. All right, we need to wrap it up, okay? Wing Nation apparel is available at www.wingnation.com. Coming up on Thursday on our podcast presented by Dryden and by Hercules, Gio Selzy, the young man. We're going to talk to him. And on our television program later this week, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joins us. So that is going to be fun as well. We appreciate Brent Marks and Kerry Madsen for joining us here on the program. More important, though, than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires.
Wing Nation has been brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Watch Wing Nation Saturday mornings on MAV TV. You can also find Wing Nation on wingnation.com or your favorite podcast provider. Wing Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.